Well, we've got a big task ahead of us today, and we are going to be cleaning out this greenhouse, getting it stabilized for the winter, and getting things a little organized and packed back in there so it's not all buried by snow. I'll admit I'm a bit embarrassed about showing this mess, but we're gonna get it figured out today. Right now we got this pile of stuff that's all from cleaning out Pat's place. It's gonna get figured out where to put that. And we have just a huge mess in this greenhouse. Over here is mostly all just cardboard that's gonna get burned up. A lot of this is just stuff that's been packed since we moved, and we've never touched it since. It's just been thrown in here to keep out of the rain, and it's just a huge mess. Mostly tools, dishes, clothes, everything that we had before we moved. We got a bunch of lumber stacked in the back here. Just all sorts of random junk. This in the back is mostly all stuff from cleaning out Pat's also. So we're gonna get this whole thing emptied out, and then we will be bracing this greenhouse so hopefully it doesn't collapse this winter. We'll be bracing the greenhouse with all of these poles. These are the tops of a lot of the trees we cut down for milling that are just, of course, too small to mill, so they've just been in a pile. I've got a lot more than this that I can use, so we're going to be cutting them to height and bracing up the greenhouse on the side poles. So we're going to do 2 rows. And then with us keeping on top of shoveling the snow off the top, hopefully it'll be good for this winter, and hopefully we can get this a lot more organized and useful. Greenhouse is all cleaned out and ready to get some supports put in. I went down and counted how many posts I'm going to need on each side. I think I'm going to start with doing every other support down each side. So that will give me 14 that I need. And I kind of checked the measurement on a handful of them. They're all right around 65 inches, give or take some. So I'm just going to cut 14 of these posts at 65 inches, and then we'll see what we need to do to get them to fit in here right. There are a few more than 14 posts here, so I'm just going to cut 14 of them. There's actually 22 here. I've got a good handful more that I can get if need be, but I'll start with cutting the 14. Right around here was my 65 inches, so I'm just going to cut them all the same. It doesn't look too pretty. I could have cut them a bit longer, but it'll work. I'm gonna get some more down the center, I think, and this is just a temporary solution anyway, so that we can store some things here over the winter, and then it'll become more of a priority in the spring. I'm guessing we're gonna end up lifting this greenhouse up so that we use the rest of the plastic and we have more of a vertical grow space anyway. So this will do the job for this winter. Enough for me. I just got to get everything organized and packed back in here so I can actually find things, hopefully. But hopefully this will keep it from collapsing over the winter. We'll just have to keep on top of brushing off snow. Guess we'll see. This pile I'm sitting on is all the tops of the trees from when we were gathering and milling a lot earlier this summer. We used a lot of the tops here as poles for supporting the greenhouse. We don't need any more supports for that right now, and I don't think we're going to be using any of these poles for any projects right now through the winter. And if we do end up needing anything, it's really not too hard for me to cut down another dead tree and just take the top off and use for whatever we need. So this is all going to become firewood. I have all our chainsaws out right now because I am packing everything into the greenhouse for the winter, and I want to run all of these dry before they get stored away. So the first 4, I'm just going to run them till they're dead and then set them aside so that we can use them next year. And then the Echo on the end is the one that we primarily use, so that one I will continue to fill as needed. I'm not even sure if any of these will start. It's been a while since some of these have been used. Well, that's one down. This is by far my least favorite saw. And of all these saws, it's one of the two that I bought. I bought this one and it's my least favorite. I bought that end one and it's by far my most favorite. This was the first saw I've ever owned though. Just got the cheapest thing I could find at the time. But it just vibrates like crazy, makes it very awful to use, makes your hands all tired. Really dislike it. So, and that chain is pretty rough. And it's a very small chain. Mostly all I use this one for is cutting stumps out of the dirt, so I don't really care much about it. The other three of these I actually got from trading work, basically. Two of them from my brother, one from someone around here. Might be empty already. Oh yeah. That's two down.
Has quite a bit of fuel in it.
able to run all the saws dry, except for the big Echo last night, and I already took one load and got it stacked. It looks like I'll be able to get a second full load here, so it's a good help on our firewood this winter. All those 4 are ran dry, ready for storage. I really didn't have much problems getting any of them started.
Nice.
Yeah. Here, you gonna help Gary? There you go. You can carry it. How teach you too, you know. Here, carry this string. Here, carry. Yeah, now put it in side by side. Put it in side by side. Up here.
Ivy, are you helping?
Yeah, right.
Should probably take them out of the side by side.
Yeah. Ready? Ready? Here you go. Get it! Oh, you almost got it. Oh. I think you'd be able to grab that.
What each load is
What is that little thing?
cute.
Coaster.
Thinking that each load in the side by side is,
Maybe a cord.
I was gonna say
What is it? 4x4x8 is a cord?
4x4x8. So I was gonna say this might be like a 1/2 to 3/4,
Yeah.
depending on how mounded it is.
Yeah. So all these posts I probably got a little over a cord.
Not bad.
Yeah.
So Cody is out in the woods getting more firewood down. So I figured I'd take this as a time to kind of walk around and show the update to our property. We've spent the last week kind of going around, starting the furthest away and kind of bringing everything in close, trying to get it picked up, cleaned up. Cody completely emptied out the greenhouse, and we've taken way too long. We still have a little bit left out here, but we've been sorting through getting stuff inside the house that we're going to want in there, and then just trying to put everything back in the greenhouse so it's a little bit more organized. We still have stuff scattered all over the property. We are taking it very slow, but the reasoning for that is kind of just because we want to do it right this time. We want it to be organized, everything. A lot of things that need brought into the house need sanitized because they're pretty gross. So we used to have a whole pile of stuff right here that we've kind of scavenged from other properties. A lot of that was just some wood that needed nails pulled out, random tools, random screws, nuts, bolts, nails, a bunch of stuff like that. So most of it's been picked through and put into the greenhouse. And I think what Cody did, and he did a pretty good job with it, is he tried breaking it down into sections once he got it supported. So kind of between like this post and that post, this is our like gardening section. And then between that post and that post, this is like a specific tool section. I did help, well, Cody kind of got this halfway put away, and then I kind of took over the project while he's been doing other things. So some of just the way I organize versus the way he organized, you know, it might not be perfect, but it's pretty close. So we kind of have like our gardening stuff. Tools kind of spreads down through 3 sections, how you want to look at that. For gardening, we kind of have like a little bit planned gardening, water, future animals. We have miscellaneous house stuff that needs sanitized before it's brought in, but it's also stuff that just is not a priority, is not going to be brought in. Save us a little bit of time. Got some more, this is kind of our miscellaneous parts, nails, screws, bolts, bungees, ropes, things like that. We've got some extra chimney pieces, some metal. Way down there, those are all the parts to finish the greenhouse. It was our goal to get it done. We still need to do another layer of wood and that like zigzag wire on the bottom on each side. We never did that. And then we also need to close off that end, and then that end we need to close off, plus put the door back on because we did take it off. But at the end here, we have a whole slew of windows. I think we got one, maybe two storm doors that we kind of picked up, scavenged for future projects. A lot of them, as you can see, just need a lot of cleaning up to do. But I'm excited for these. We kind of just keep an eye out whenever we can. And then at the very end on the bottom are some of the boards that Cody's milled. Some of our scraps just from we bought with the house. So Cody kind of slatted them, laid them down as flat as he could, and we're gonna just see how they go like this over the winter time. When my mom was here, she made a little bed for all of our strawberry plants in here, which is awesome. I'm super excited about these. I think on my to-do list is I'm gonna get some leaves and just kind of throw leaves on top of all of this, just to try to help insulate it. Yeah, and then right here, just kind of some of the plants that we had that never got planted in the ground. So fingers crossed, not the end of the world if they die. Really hoping they don't. We'll see. They're all really cold hardy. Oh well. There's still a lot that's in here, but it's a lot less than what used to be in here. We want to get as much brought in the house as possible, but at the same time, the house is small and it's really cramped. And the more we bring in there, the harder it is to organize as we go. This is kind of what's left of the mishmash that came out of the greenhouse. A lot of it needs to just be brought into the house, which actually there's not that much left that needs to be brought into the house. So that is starting to feel doable at this point. The camper is kind of a whole other mess. It's really gross in there. It smells so bad. When we got to the point where we could move out of this camper and into the house, it was time, because there's just so much moisture in the air and the humidity inside of that camper. It was just starting to get really gross. But now we have the issue of, we moved most of our stuff out of there, but we need to get back in there and get the rest out. And this is the stuff from in here that needs to be cleaned up the most. That's all. I gotta keep working.